Good morning. How's everyone doing today?
Not many people know this, but
I don't think I asked you.
it might even surprise you. I once had a promising career as a music writer. It never worked out because I wrote lullabies and I kept falling asleep before I finished it.
They get worse, don't they? Groaning time.
I got another one.
No. About 10 minutes ago, I got a call, excuse me, from John. He said the prayer for today for Susan is that she gets out of the ICU into her own room and gets up and walking.
ICU?
Yeah. So, yeah, you didn't see the prayers?
No. I saw she was in the hospital.
Yeah. Serious kidney infection. Anyone else have anything?
How about the missionaries? You said they're on their way?
Yeah, they should be leaving Seattle to Anchorage right about now.
They left here yesterday, right?
Yes.
So they overnighted in Seattle?
Yes, so you said...
They spent the night at the airport. They got there about 12:30 and they leave at 6 o'clock this morning their time, which is 2 hours behind us. So, yeah, they're text. Angie just texted and said they're on their way to Alaska.
They laid over.
Slept at the terminal.
Yeah. There was 11 of them, and it was just...
And it was a couple hours, yeah.
To do that, and so they said, we could not handle that, we'd sleep in the plane. So.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and start. Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you, Lord, for those who are heading up to Alaska. Keep them safe, Lord. We pray that your Spirit is upon us and the things that we discuss here. And we just pray that we are about your business and sharing your word in everything that we think, say, and do. In Christ's name. No class next week and the week after, the 27th and the 3rd. So don't get used to it, but no class for the next 2 weeks.
Why?
You know why.
I know why, but everybody else might not.
We'll be gone. So there.
That's it for you.
Yeah.
What's that?
Will you be doing his installation?
No, in every district, the district president or one of his people, usually a vice president or someone, they do the installations within their district. That's just the way it works in every district. However, I will be preaching at the service.
And looking on with a big smile.
It will be a lot of emotions. Yeah.
Will he be able to tell one of his jokes?
Hopefully not. Hopefully we'll warn them and he won't get to talk at all.
Now, who's preaching at his installation?
Yeah, that's me.
Well,
His ordination installation will be at one service. So ordination is the service that is done when you become a pastor. You're ordained. That happens once when you first become a pastor. Installation is at every place that you accept a call for ministry after that. So he could have had his ordination in another place and then his installation at Grace in Aurora. Or, as he is doing and many others do, they just combine the two and have it one service, ordination and installation in one service.
So are you preaching at the ordination service or the Sunday after?
No, the ordination, because he's preaching next Sunday. Because he'll become a pastor, and then he's on the job.
it's a job.
So today is his last Sunday of not having responsibility.
Well, I think he's done something.
They settle on a house?
They are working with the builder in the place. So, all right, we are at chapter 7. Now, what did we cover before this? for the love. What was in that? The Battle of Jericho. All right, so now Jericho, they've been defeated, and now we have Ai. Now let's see, where are we? Battle of Ai. Okay, so that's actually, I need to zoom out a little bit. I know it's going to be hard to see, but I'll point out. There you go. Okay. So you have here, here's Ai, here's Bethel, because it's going to talk about Ai being to the east of Bethel, or Bethel being to the west of Ai. You're also going to hear about Shebarim, the valley of Achor. That's going to have influence here. They're going to be using this valley in chapter 8, which is another part of this. And then they're going to be going up to Mount Ebal and Gerizim, which that should ring a bell from Deuteronomy. Those two mountains. We'll get to that when we get there. But this is the area that we're looking at. So it's going to mention Bethaven and these areas. Now you can tell by the terrain that it's a very, very hilly terrain. So there's a lot of hills and valleys. That's going to be important because you're going to be wondering how did these people not see, in this chapter 8, not see so many of the army? Well, it's because of the terrain. Jericho's over here. Yeah, so Gilgal. So when they crossed over, they camped at Gilgal. They overtook Jericho, and you can kind of see this valley and over here from this area on some of these hills. You can see all the way over there. So they would have seen what was happening to Jericho. All right. Israel defeated at Ai. Okay. But the people of Israel broke faith in regard to the devoted things, for Achan, son of Carmi, son of Zabdi, son of Zerah of the tribe of Judah, took some of the devoted things, and the anger of Yahweh burned against the people of Israel. So that is kind of your heading. That is the introduction. Now it's going to get into the details of what it was that happened. But already you can tell some of these things. Now, I will say, son of Carmi, son of Zabdi, son of Zerah, and I think Zerah, the tribe of Judah. So you can already tell that this person who broke faith is within that same tribe of Jesus.
But they took idols? Is that what he's really saying when he said that?
Not idol, but he'll get in a minute on what he did. Yeah. So we haven't heard yet. Now we're just told. There's some bad things that's going to happen. Now he's going to get into the detail of what it was. All right. Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is near Bethaven. You remember where that was? Bethaven, that's the south part here, right down here. So Ai, Bethaven, Jericho. So hold on 1 second. East of Bethel, and said to them, "Go up and spy out the land." They're big on sending out spies. The men went up and spied out Ai, and they returned to Joshua and said to him, Do not have all the people go up, but let about 2,000 or 3,000 men go up and attack Ai. Do not make the whole people toil up there, for they are few. That is the people of Ai. So about 3,000 men went up there from the people, and they fled before the men of Ai. And the men of Ai killed about 36 of their men, and chased them before the gate as far as Shebarim. And do you We saw where that was. I'll point it out again. And struck them at the descent. And the hearts of the people melted and became as water. All right, so again, Shebarim, they chased them as far as over here. Right here. So here's Shebarim, Bethel.
It's by the usual translation, because mine just says, go look at the country.
Spies is the usual translation. Yeah. I think it's, I believe it's the same word, I haven't looked, but the same word that's used when they go and spy out the land of Canaan in the first place and spy out Jericho beforehand. All right, so what does this tell you about what we saw so far? We still haven't gotten to the heart of the matter on why this has happened, but anything spread out to you?
Well, they figured out God wasn't with them for sure.
Yeah, that was pretty clear, and Joshua is going to come to that conclusion too here. What about, don't have all the people go up, they just needed a couple thousand. I mean, so, what's that?
Pride.
Pride? No, it didn't have to do with pride. It's not even the number that went up.
They were overconfident.
I don't think that was it either. I don't think that had anything to do with it.
They had bad recon.
Bad recon? No, not bad recon. So what was the issue? All right, well, Joshua was wondering this too. So let's take a look at 6. Joshua tore his clothes and fell to the earth on his face before the ark of Yahweh until the evening, he and the elders of Israel. They put dust on their heads, and Joshua said, Alas, O Lord Yahweh, why have you brought this people over the Jordan at all, to give us into the hands of the Amorites to destroy us? Would that we had been content to dwell beyond the Jordan, that is, east of the Jordan. O Lord, what can I say when Israel has turned their backs before their enemies? For the Canaanites and all the inhabitants of the land will hear of it, and will surround us and cut off our name from the earth. And what will you do for your great name? So what's happening here?
Joshua's getting silly.
He's getting silly.
They forgot who brought them this far.
Well, I think Joshua is confused, right?
He sounds a lot like Moses.
He sounds a lot like Moses, and he's saying some of the same thing. Why did you bring us out? Why, and he uses one of the same arguments that Moses used too, which is what?
Yeah. What's this going to do to your reputation?
What's this going to do to your reputation, your name, right? And here's a thing. It works. Because God's name, God keeps his reputation, is a deal. I'm not saying that changes, oh yeah, you're right, I'm confused because you said that. No, but it does matter. And because God's name matters.
Well, isn't it also, the first thing Joshua did, and the elders, is get into a position of repentance.
Yes.
They know, okay, we messed up, we don't know what, we messed up. And so immediately they go to that, not anger, not anything else.
Yes.
It's, okay, we messed up. And I guess the bigger thing is, they waited until evening, they waited to hear from God.
Yeah. No, I think you're exactly right, and I think that's huge. Right? Yeah, they struck a pose of repentance. Yeah. Even though that they're like, we don't think the same thing that we did, but they're representatives of the nation. And that's going to be important, the national aspect. To give us the hands of our eyes. Would that we have been content. O Lord, verse 8, O Lord, what can I say when Israel has turned their backs before their enemies? How can it possibly be that we would be the ones fleeing? That this just doesn't seem right. Yeah.
And we see them, how their fear was so great against, when David was a shepherd boy and stood against Goliath, they would not go over.
They wouldn't go over, yeah.
The Philistines.
Yeah. I think it's also interesting that, what was it, verse 5? And the hearts of the people melted and became as water. We heard the same thing. That's what Rahab and stuff said about all the people in Jericho. Our hearts melted when we heard about, you all coming against us. It's that same imagery that's used. But now that imagery is talking about the Israelites, not about the people of Ai. And think about what is happening in the minds of the people of Ai and Bethel who are witnessing all of this. Hey, maybe there's some hope against these folks.
They're not so tough.
Yeah. Maybe we can take them.
Well, they've got, 3,000 men, 36 get killed, and they turn and run.
Yeah.
That's not very many.
That's not very many. Yeah. But the fact that even just that few was enough for Israel to say, whoa, something ain't right here.
It should have been a walk through the park.
Yeah.
In other words.
Yeah. Because who is fighting for them? It's supposed to be Yahweh's fighting for them. So what happened? And that same mindset of was he with us? Is that still the thing? Because if he's with us, this shouldn't have happened. And you can bet that same mindset was with the people of Ai and Bethel. Maybe their God left them.
In verse 9, mine says, they will surround us and remove every memory of us from the earth.
On that was verse 9.
Yeah, instead of name, it's
They surround us and cut off our name. Yeah.
Like they really thought it was the end.
Think about this. If Yahweh did leave them, they can't retreat back over the Jordan, can they? How will they get there? Because God parted the water. If God's not with them to do that, their retreat, their exit is gone. And cut off our name. Yeah, so he bids to God's name about your name, but they talk about their name, and of course we hear that same thing in what? Tower of Babel, making a name for yourself. There is some aspect of pride and hubris that can be a part of that. All right. Verse 10. Son of Achan. Yahweh said to Joshua, "Get up. Why have you fallen on your face? Israel has sinned. They have transgressed my covenant that I have commanded them. And they have taken some of the devoted things. They have stolen and lied and put them among their own belongings. Therefore, the people of Israel cannot stand before their enemies. They turn their backs before their enemies because they have become devoted for destruction. I will be with you no more unless you destroy the devoted things from among you." All right, let's pause there for a second. There's a couple of heavy phrases in that. First interesting thing, I think, is that he says to Joshua, "Get up. Why have you fought?" So God, it's almost an incident where Joshua, you should know what the issue is here. I find that kind of interesting.
Yeah, you should. The other thing is there's corporate condemnation because of individual transgression.
Exactly. And we see that, we're going to see that throughout this whole aspect. Because he doesn't say, Achan, who he doesn't name by name, but we'll narrow down to find out who he is. It doesn't give, because someone has sinned, or because this tribe is, or anything else. Israel has sinned. There is a corporate guilt for the sin of a person.
Of one soldier.
Yeah.
It says in the notes, one soldier's death of the devoted goods.
Now, I don't think, and we'll see this in a minute, I don't think that he was the only one that was guilty of something here, but yeah, it was his theft that started this down this path. But yeah, the whole aspect of this is a corporate issue, and it's not that they're calling it themselves. God is saying this. Israel has sinned. What does that tell you about secret sins? They ain't secrets. They affect and infect corporate. When a church allows or glosses over sin, it infects all.
We see this time and time again, even in the desert, when they were in their wanderings, you know, a couple people sinned or did something wrong, and yet he blotted out thousands.
Yeah. God turns his basically turns his anger towards them until that is taken care of. I mean, and that should tell you how seriously God takes sin. Jesus iterates this on, if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off, and, about what is the importance of sin, the matter. We just kind of take it for granted. Oh, yeah, I messed up. Oh, I'll just go and say sorry and then move on. Yes, but it's a serious matter.
And we see it today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Well, you wonder if you look at the nation of the United States today, and one sinner here started a whole deal, what's it going to be like for us?
Not good. Not good. But he says, I will be with you no more unless you destroy the devoted things from among you. And remember that devoted things, remember how devoted to destruction, that they were to make these other nations, that also can be understood and translated as devoted as an offering. So now that table has flipped. Who are the ones who are devoted? You've taken devoted things, devoted for destruction, devoted as an offering, and now unless you destroy these devoted things, I'm not going to be with you.
Wealth is still very tempting to this day.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you think about it. Who's going to miss it? It's going to be gone, Is someone taking an inventory? No.
Yeah, somebody was.
Somebody was, that's right, yeah.
Well, it wasn't that long ago, they were promising Joshua that they would faithfully follow him.
Yeah.
And do what he said, and he told
Didn't take too long.
What not to do, and
Yeah.
one fell to temptation.
Yeah, didn't take long. But those these nations who were devoted for destruction, you see here in verse 12 that they turn their backs on their enemies because they have become devoted for destruction. Yeah, all right, get up, consecrate the people. Verse 13. Get up. Consecrate the people and say, consecrate yourselves for tomorrow, for thus says Yahweh, God of Israel. They are devoted things in your midst, O Israel. You cannot stand before your enemies until you take away the devoted things from among you. In the morning, therefore, you shall be brought near by your tribes, and the tribe that Yahweh takes by lot shall come near by clans, and the clan that Yahweh takes shall come near by households. Households that Yahweh takes shall come near man by man. And he who is taken with the devoted things shall be burned with fire, he and all that he has, because he has transgressed the covenant of Yahweh. And because he has done an outrageous thing in Israel. Anything on that?
So how many Israelites are there right now? Several 100,000, right?
100,000, maybe even in the millions. As far as soldiers go, probably not in the millions, but hundreds of thousands, probably. And it will mention tens of thousands here in a little bit, but a lot. We don't know what the how the lot system was. It Ewan and Thurman? Was it casting lots? What means were used? We're not told that because we'll get to that in a minute. But just that the Lord is laying out before it. This is how you're going to find. You'd think it would just be easier if Yahweh just says, "It's Achan. He's over here. Go get him." But that's not the way. That's not the way you're going to lay it out.
Well, so to bring up the question, and this is not the only time they use lots to make an important decision. Matthias was chosen by lots.
True.
They weed out the bad guy here with lots. So, would you, next time you get a call, flip a coin? And
There are. I know some brothers that it's not usually so much as pastors who will do that and accept you or rejecting, although some may. But I've known congregations that have done that in deciding between individuals.
So what do you think of that?
If that's the way that the Spirit has led them to make their decision, so be it.
Their decision, their consequence.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
So they should be burned with fire. That doesn't necessarily mean they were killed. They could have been bad.
Oh, no,
It is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He ain't getting away from this.
I thought maybe they were just burned by then.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it said, what did it say? He and all that he has. That's going to become important here in a minute, too. He has done an outrageous thing in Israel. Anything else? All right, so 16.
Joshua rose early in the morning and brought Israel near, tribe by tribe, and the tribe of Judah was taken. He brought near the clans of Judah, and the clan of Zerarites was taken. He brought near the clan of the Zerarites, man by man, and Zabdi was taken. He brought near his household man by man, and Achan, son of Carmi, son of Zabdi, son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, was taken. Joshua said to Achan, "My son, give glory to Yahweh, God of Israel, and give praise to him. Tell me now what you have done. Do not hide it from me." All right, so now we're going to hear what happened. Achan answered Joshua, "Truly I have sinned against Yahweh, God of Israel, and this is what I did. When I saw some of the spoil, a beautiful cloak from Shinar, and 200 shekels of silver, and a bar of gold weighing 50 shekels, I coveted them, and I took them. And see, they are hidden in the earth inside my tent, with the silver underneath." Joshua sent messengers, and they ran to the tent, and behold, it was hidden in his tent with the silver underneath. And they took them out of the tent, and they brought them to Joshua and all the people of Israel. And they laid them down before Yahweh. And Joshua and all Israel with him. Okay. All right, we'll pause there for a second.
Anything there?
Don't you know Achan is standing in a puddle of sweat or a puddle of something on this couch?
You know he's got to know what's coming.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a couple of interesting lines in there.
Well, he didn't try to deny it.
He didn't deny it.
He was caught. He admitted it and told him where to go find it.
And he acknowledged, I sinned. I did that. This is what I did. You know, I find a couple things interesting. First of all, the way that Joshua addressed Achan is a very
How did he know?
well, it was a very kind of fatherly, benevolent type of. Do not hide it from me. Now, of course, you can sit there and say, Achan only confessed because he was caught, right? But yeah, Joshua is kind of like, okay, all right, son, it's time to step up and
He didn't
confess.
say if you did it, he said you did it, basically.
Well, he knows he did it. That's not a question.
It's kind of like George Washington and the cherry tree, but it doesn't turn out as well.
It's not going to turn out as well. That's true. Anything else on that?
Well, it almost seems like Achan is confessing. He's sorry that he did it. I don't, well, we all know how it turns out.
It turns out worse than you think.
Well, it's always that sin has consequences.
Sin has consequences. That's absolutely true.
Basically, he's responsible for the 38 people that died because
The 36, 38, yeah. For those 38 that died, yeah, and the trouble that they're going through. Mm-hmm.
But it's also more like he is sorry he got caught, because one commentary talks about the fact that this is going on, and he knows it's going to come down to him. He doesn't just
Step up.
and confess and say, I did it.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if maybe the lots won't fall to me and I'll get out of this.
Well, the outcome may have been different for the rest had he stepped up. Probably wouldn't have been different for him. But interestingly enough,
Yeah, it's going to be not just bad for him, the consequences. It's going to flow over. Yeah. Yeah, so, and this is another thing too. Just because he said, I have sinned, does that count as confession of the heart? Did he have, may the Lord have mercy on me, doesn't say any of that. May I be forgiven? He doesn't look at it, he just says, I have sinned.
he doesn't beg for his life or anything.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I did wrong. Please don't kill me.
Yeah, even the aspect, I don't even think the killing's the issue. It'd just be, I have sinned, and I pray the Lord's forgiveness and mercy. That's a different thing.
Something that had effect.
Yeah, and we don't hear that.
Right.
All right.
Do you, at that stage, do you ever pray that, God, I know I did this wrong, but don't let anybody know about it?
Oh, sure. I think people do that all the time. Yeah.
But that's, what are you really expecting from God? I know you blew it, you did something wrong, but you want me to help you hide it?
That's not really, that's not by history. We don't see that happening. That's not really his MO. God's MO is not to help conceal.
What's going through somebody's brain when they do that?
Usually self-preservation. Even if it's just preservation from reputation. I don't want what other people might think. And it might be the case. I don't want someone else. I know that if this comes out, someone else will get hurt. Does that justify it?
Physically, the robe was pretty lightweight. But when you start measuring your gold and silver in shekels,
That's a lot.
who's carrying that?
Yeah, that's it too, and that's why I think that I don't know that he is the only culpable aspect. And yeah, we'll get to some of that in just a minute. Okay. They took them out of the tent. They brought them. Verse 23. They took them out of the tent and brought them to Joshua and all the people of Israel. They laid them down before Yahweh. Joshua and all Israel with him took Achan the son of Zerah and the silver and the cloak and the bar of gold and his sons and daughters and his oxen and donkeys and sheep and his tent and all that he had. They brought them up to the valley of Achor. Remember, that's in the south part there. I'll show you in a minute. And Joshua says, why did you bring trouble on us? Yahweh brings trouble on you today. And all Israel stoned him with stones. They burned them with fire and stoned them with stones. And they raised over him a great heap of stones that remains to this day. All right, let's, first of all, the valley of Achor. Okay, so that, the valley, oh, yeah, why did I do that? Okay, so the valley is way down here. So that's where they come down to do this. Now, there's an interesting aspect here. It's a word play between Achan and Achor. Achor means trouble. Okay, but this is said in several other passages refer back to this person. I think in Chronicles and maybe somewhere else, as the one who brought trouble upon Israel. It's making a play on a name that sounds similar to Achan and trouble in the valley. Yeah. We don't get that aspect in English.
The scale there on the bottom right is 1 mile and 1 kilometer?
No, that's 5 kilometers and 5 miles.
Okay.
So the valley of Achor, the valley of trouble.
That's a way to be remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what else in this passage?
They get you.
Right, there should be something that just, whoa.
Back to the sons and daughters.
Yeah.
Because God expressly says, do not punish.
Yeah, in Deuteronomy it says that the father shall not be punished for the sins of the children, and the children for the sins of the father. Right. Yeah. So what does that tell you?
Leads you to believe they were complicit.
Yeah, it leads you to believe that they were complicit. I mean, how did he hide these things by his tent and under his tent without others knowing?
I don't think his oxen were complicit.
No, but
They might have, but they carried them. They might have.
Okay, the sheep then, what did the sheep do?
They do about
all that he had. And remember, I forget who it was when they were coming out of Israel, where the earth just swallowed up. It was all the stuff. And part of this,
I think it's in James, to hate even the garment stained by sin. It's that even the garment stained by sin. So it's that aspect of the sin not just affects the people, but it affects the part of creation around it.
Well, there is a practical aspect to essentially sacrificing oxen and donkeys and everything. Because if you didn't, then who gets them?
oh yeah.
And then there's a greed motive
For accusing.
Yeah, good point.
One interesting person to listen from the list was his wife.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about so was she not in the picture, or was it?
We don't know anything about that.
Yeah, just because she's not listed doesn't mean she wasn't a part of it. It doesn't mean she was or wasn't. She's just not mentioned at all.
Pull up 25 again on there. Because mine says something different. Mine says they,
Okay.
Stoned him with stones.
all Israel stoned Achan, mine says, and his family to death.
Well, I mean, they're taking the aspect from excuse me, what I said before about his sons and daughters.
So,
Yeah, I don't know where that translation got that, because I don't think that's
so
the
you
end of
don't
it.
think the family was stoned, they were.
No, they were killed too. The sons and daughters. They were listed.
The rest.
Yeah,
There,
it
yeah.
says that at the end of verse 25.
Well, and that indicated,
Yeah.
that indicated the end of that generation.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's not going to continue anymore.
So Achan had, it doesn't say how many oxen, sheep.
Yeah, we're not told how many.
But it suggests if you had several 100,000 people here, and they all had oxen and sheep, this must have been a formidable assembly.
Yeah.
Mound of rocks.
And then my other thought is, maybe I'd like to head over to the Valley of Achor and look for a pile of rocks, see if there's some silver and gold there.
Well, yeah, but it says all that belongs to him. That silver and gold didn't belong to him. And the silver and gold that they were told before would go into the treasury of Yahweh. So I think that silver and gold was probably taken into the treasury. Because those didn't belong to him. It says everything that was his.
Okay.
All right, they raised over him a great heap of stones that remain to this day. Then Yahweh turned from his burning anger. Therefore, To this day, the name of that place is called the Valley of Achor, the Valley of Trouble. Yeah.
In Deuteronomy 24:16, it says, fathers shall not be put to death because of their children, nor shall children be put to death because of their
Right, yeah, we mentioned that, and that gives credence to the aspect that the children were probably complicit in maybe hiding this stuff or not bringing it forth. So, because it wouldn't make sense if they were being
But would a
punished.
child really be disputing whatever your parents tell you to do?
Well, the thing is, what did Jesus say? Unless you hate your father and mother more than me, right? I mean, who comes first? Is it Yahweh or is it mom and dad?
It says to honor your mother and father.
Yes, but never over Yahweh. There is no one that we are to honor and obey more than God. What's that?
If the 3 or 4 or 5, would you really?
I mean, this is what it comes down to. We don't know how old
These kids were or anything like that. We don't have any of that information.
What we do know is God is a just and righteous God. And He demands our following. He demands our loyalty. I am a jealous God. Right? I mean, He will not give His glory to another, and that includes those among our own family.
We see the same thing with King Saul and his disobedience and not following God, because when they were to defeat this nation, they were to destroy all of the animals also, and I think he didn't do that.
Yeah.
And then they end up paying the price for that.
It's not a good thing. Anything else?
So is that still there?
There's actually a different heap of rocks, or where they think maybe the king of Ai was buried, but I don't know if this one in the Valley of Achor. And you know, archaeology is a tricky business.
Doesn't this also show the rest of the nation of Israel? This is what happens if you disobey God.
Yeah.
Because then they have to take part in destroying this family, this entire family.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like showing them, don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, and part of this is a reminder to the rest of Israel. You obey God.
So were there other soldiers that took stuff?
Not that we're told. And since God turned from His anger,
That the issue is solved. All right, I don't know if we can make it to another chapter in 15 minutes. Let's see, because this is
the Battle of Ai Take Two. All right, but now they have a different game plan. So before it was, a couple thousand, 2,000 to 3,000 people to go in and just take care of it. But Joshua has a different game plan now, and he's going to make sure we're going to get her done. All right. Yahweh said to Joshua, "Do not fear, do not be dismayed. Take all the fighting men with you, and rise, go up to Ai. See, I have given into your hand the king of Ai."
You remember a similar terminology and phraseology in Jericho? See, I have given Jericho into your hand. It says that before the battle starts. Saying it now too.
I have given the king into your hand, the king of Ai, and his people, his city, and his land. You shall do to Ai and its king as you did to Jericho and its king. Only its spoil and its livestock you shall take as plunder for yourselves. Lay an ambush against the city behind it. So again, this game plan, it was not Joshua's idea. God told him, lay in it. Okay. So Joshua took all the fighting men, arose arose to go up to Ai. And Joshua chose 30,000 men of valor and sent them out by night. He commanded them, "Behold, you shall lie in ambush against the city behind it. Do not go very far from the city, but all of you remain ready. And I and the people who are with me will approach the city. When they come out against us just as before, we shall flee before them. And they will come out after us until we have drawn them away from the city. For they will say, 'They're fleeing from us just as before.' So we will flee before them. Then you shall rise and go up from the ambush and seize the city, for Yahweh your God will give it into your hand. As soon as you have taken the city, you shall set the city on fire. You shall do according to the word of Yahweh. See, I have commanded you." So Joshua sent them out. They went to the place of the ambush and lay between Bethel and Ai. Remember where those were. So Bethel was on the west, and Ai was just a little bit on the east. You can see the one from the other. Where am I? Into Bethel and Ai, west of Ai. So Joshua spent that night among the people. Joshua rose early in the morning, and he mustered the people and went up, he and the elders of Israel, before the people of Ai. All the fighting men who were with him went up and drew near to the city and encamped on the north side of Ai. In the geography, north side, with a ravine between them and Ai. He took about 5,000 of them and set in ambush between Bethel and Ai to the west of the city. So they stationed the forces, the main encampment that was in the north of the city, and its rear guard to the west of the city. But Joshua spent the night in the valley. As soon as the king of Ai saw this, he and all his people, the men of the city, hurried and went out early to the appointed place, or at the appointed time, could be translated, toward the Arabah to meet Israel in battle. But he did not know that there was an ambush against him behind the city. Joshua and all Israel pretended to be beaten before them, and they fled in the direction of the wilderness. All the people who were in the city were called together to pursue them, and as they pursued Joshua, they were drawn away from the city. Not a man was left in Ai or Bethel who did not go after Israel. That's interesting. They left the city open and pursued Israel. Yahweh said to Joshua, "Stretch out the javelin that is in your hand toward Ai, for I will give it into your hand." All right, we'll pause there for a second. But anything that you see in there so far?
Well, one thing, right off the start in chapter 8, it shows that God's wrath was truly abated for what they did to, Achan's family. Because right away he's telling him, "All right, go get him."
And this is what you're going to do. Yep. Anything else?
There's no mention of sacrifice, so all of this stuff is fair game. The city and
it's going to be obliterated.
So the men all left and the women and kids were left there.
They're left in the camp. Yeah.
To get burned out.
And the city, well, you're talking Ai? In Ai, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, all the men of the city would go out to fight, and the women would stay back in the city. Now, they're not going to be killed by the fire, but they will all be killed.
Who won't be killed?
No, they will all be killed, just not all by fire. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, this aspect that the people of the men of Bethel came out too.
Yeah, I thought, weren't the ambushers in between Bethel and
Evidently in a valley enough that they were not seen by either Bethel or Ai. It is interesting topography that you look at. So you see, they either could witness, what was happening to the people of Israel, or maybe there was a runner from Ai that came, "Hey, come help us out, get rid of this threat once and for all." But the men of Bethel go out too to take care of this.
They kind of remind me of a bunch of rednecks. "Hey, there's a fight over there, come on."
Maybe something to that. All right, and then what's this aspect of Joshua holding out his javelin?
Kind of like Moses holding up his staff.
Exactly, yeah. We get that same imagery. That him holding his javelin is like Moses holding out his staff, and that while that's held up, the Israelites are prevailing. And we'll hear how long he's holding that javelin up. We'll hear that in a minute.
Where were we? Stretch your hand for that. I'll give it to you. Joshua stretched out the javelin that was in his hand from the city. 19.
The men in the ambush rose quickly out of their place. So that was like this is my signal, the javelin. So how did they see that? We don't know, or if there were others along the way. But anyway, they rose quickly out of their place, and as soon as his hand stretched out, he had stretched out his hand, they ran and entered the city and captured it. They hurried to set the city on fire. So when the men of Ai looked back, behold, the smoke of the city went up to heaven, and they had no power to flee this way or that, for the people who fled to the wilderness turned their back against the pursuers. That is, all the people pretending in Israel that they were running away from it, they turned back. So now they're trapped between this. And when Joshua and all Israel saw that the ambush had captured the city, and that the smoke of the city went up, then they turned back and struck down the men of Ai. The others came out of the city against them, so that they were in the midst of Israel, some on this side and some on that side. Israel struck them down until there was left none that survived or escaped. But the king of Ai they took alive and brought him near Joshua. Now I find interesting here,
I'm kind of rushing through this, but
we don't hear anything about the men of Bethel. Yeah, and we don't hear anything about them going and taking Bethel either. At least not soon after this. I don't remember seeing it. So did they take Bethel also and kill him, and they just didn't? I don't know. We know that the men of Bethel went out to help. Maybe they hadn't gotten there yet when they saw Ai burning and said, "You know what? We're just going to go back there." We don't know. It's interesting. Took the king alive. Okay. When Israel had finished killing all the inhabitants of Ai in the open wilderness where they had pursued them, and all of them to the very last had fallen by the edge of the sword. So they didn't die by the fire, they died by the sword. All Israel returned to Ai and struck it down with the edge of the sword. All who fell that day, both men and women, were 12,000, all the people of Ai. But Joshua did not draw back his hand with which he stretched out the javelin until he had devoted all the inhabitants of Ai to destruction. Only the livestock and the spoil of the city Israel took as their plunder, according to the word of Yahweh that he commanded Joshua. So Joshua burned Ai and made it forever a heap of ruins, as it is to this day. He hanged the king of Ai on a tree until evening, and at sunset Joshua commanded, and they took his body down from the tree, threw it at the entrance of the gate of the city, and raised over it a great heap of stones, which stands there to this day.
And there is an archaeological thing that looks like that might be the heap of stone. And if it is, it's a very large heap of stones. I mean, multiple feet up. And if they have the site of Ai correct in excavations, there is a layer that you see that is all black and soot across all the places they excavate.
It shows his benevolence here, too, in the fact that he took down the body of the king.
I'm not sure the king would see it that way, but...
Yeah, but that was their tradition.
Yeah, because, well, you see, in many other countries, many other groups of people, they would leave the bodies out. Yeah, for the birds and things to get to rot out in the open for people to see as a sign. The Romans did that too.
I think it was Alexander the Great said you never want to fight the same enemy twice. That's kind of an example of I don't have to come back.
Well, yeah, you don't have to come back. They did fight the same enemy twice.
Worked out better the second time when they had God on their side. Anything else? Okay, we're going to stop there. We'll be at 8:30. That we'll do for 3 weeks.
Wait.
When do the missionaries get back?
Saturday, Sunday, something like that. Yeah, I think they're supposed to be in church next Sunday, but I'm not sure. I don't know. All right. Let's go with the benediction. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you in favor and give you his peace.
Amen. Bless. Have a good week. And remember, no class next week or the week after. So we'll next meet on August 10th.